Yeah. Finished wrapping up the mine the last time. Need to get to some kind of a city now. Just to get spells, if nothing else. It's fairly important. I'd like to imagine myself as some kind of a mind control necromancer. And it's hard to do that if I can't do any necromancy and my mind control abilities are basically just causing people to go berserk a little. So we need to improve our game on that. Early evening. Riverwood is a good place to start. First village and step on our path to world domination.
Uncle Halvor, hello.
Riverwood Trader.
Well, one of us has to do something.
I said no. No adventures, no theatrics, no thief chasing.
Well, what are you going to do then, huh? Let's hear it.
We are done talking about this.
Well, I don't know what you overheard, but the Riverwood Trader is still open. Feel free to shop.
Do you sell spells?
I think I have a few old spell books laying about. If you want more, you'll have to go to the College of Winterhold.
Collage of Winterhold. Okay, Frostbite. It's basically the ice version of the shitty attack spells we have. We have their three elements: fire, frost, and shock. They're a little bit different. The basic difference is fire has lingering damage, frost also damages stamina and slows down targets often. Shock also damages magic, so good against mages. I think fire is the cheapest, frost is the middle ground, and shock is always the most expensive. Shock has an advantage in that it's an instant strike. It doesn't shoot a projectile, it just instantly strikes the target, so it's very difficult to try to dodge. Ray zombie. Oak flesh. That's pretty much it. Not exactly a huge selection of spells. Her shoes. There's a reason to save up magical equipment is that enchantments are learned by disenchanting existing items. So every different kind of enchantment, no matter how shitty it is good. Yeah, if we have 50% magical regeneration buff, it doesn't matter. We learn the ability out of that. So it doesn't matter if it's 50%, 100%, 150%. It's the same ability basically. Anything else? Well, we might as well sell the potions if we're not going to use them. No point wasting air weight on them. Gold. Okay, did something happen?
Yeah, we did have a bit of a break-in, but we still have plenty to sell. Robbers were only after one thing. An ornament, solid gold in the shape of a dragon's claw.
I could help you get the claw back. In general, this is Skyrim is not a good role-playing game. It's an adventure game. So there are not a lot of options in dialogue. It's basically either you accept it or you a quest or you just walk away. There's not a lot of dialogue options.
You could? I've got some coin coming in from my last shipment. It's yours if you bring my claw back.
Now, if you're going to get those thieves, you should head.
My point of highlighting that is simply that you can't really roleplay a character through dialogue options. So this is not a good role-playing game. But it's more of a in your mind. You can work it like that. It's not a. It's just. Not sure how to put it. The developers don't really support a lot of different type of characters. It's more of a. This is the path, and you either take it or you don't. Those are your options.
All's Barrow, northeast of town.
So if you
Yes.
really want to
So now
play
you don't have to go, do
some kind of
you?
role-playing game, deep
Oh, really?
role-playing
Well,
game,
I think your new
this
helper
is
here
not.
needs a-
It's sort of why I cringe when I hear news about games like Fallout 4, for example, and it's
You have to go through town and across the bridge to get to
treat the Golden Claw.
All's Barrow.
It's a lot of fanfaring about how it has a lot of well-spoken dialogue lines, which is fine. That's always a positive, the more the better. However, it's always gonna be less than if you have limited spoken dialogue and more written. It's very tough, time consuming to do a very comprehensive role-playing system and have it all spoken. I haven't seen it done well at all, ever. It's not like it means the role-playing options are absolute shit. It's that they're inferior. So it's the reason I can't really get excited about news like that. It's not like I think the game is good. I mean, Fallout 3 was that, New Vegas was that, and I like both games. I'm sure I'll like the next Fallout game. It's more of a, I guess, a little bit of a lamentation of the fact that Fallout series 1 and 2 started as better role-playing games than they are today. I mean, 3 and 4 very likely are going to be worse games in that sense. A lot more immersive, a lot better adventure games, but I'm pretty certain that the role-playing games, they're gonna, even the fourth one will be inferior. I'm not too bummed out about it. There are other games that basically taken their place. I guess Shadowrun returns to some extent, and it had a latest edition Hong Kong, which I played through. It's better than the original game. I think slightly below Dragonfall. Game mechanically, it's best one, but it's just not quite up to the quality of Dragonfall. Very similar in a way, but it's hard to put it into words. It's not like I'm gonna do a let's play out of it anymore. So it's not. I'm sure I get to complain about it, but it seems to suffer from the problem that you're not really doing a lot to involve yourself in the plot. It's more like you do side missions, and after you do enough, someone's going to come and tell you, okay, something happened, and we'll send you to do another mission that has at least some connection to the plot. It's sort of you don't have really all that much initiative and agency in your own actions and group. You're sort of just sitting on the sidelines, and someone at times is feeding you a mission related to the main plot line. It's just not that involved, and I'm not sure why they go that way. I don't actually like this all that much. The fire, it's nothing bad, but it's cheaper than sparks. Guess that's the reason to like it. This has the benefit that if we encounter someone who uses any kind of magicka related abilities, we can keep their magicka low. The reason I took this job, I didn't do it just for fun, is that I do intend to do enough of the main plotline to nudge the game world out of its initial stasis. And if I follow the main plotline, it'll say go to Whiterun, and then they'll send me back to Bleak Barrow. So I might as well go and retrieve the Golden Claw and do Bleak Barrow, because it allows me to nudge the game forward, and then we can do whatever we want. We can do whatever we want now too, but it's not quite the same. The situation isn't quite the same, the threat isn't quite the same. Talking to people might not make quite as much sense, because things haven't happened that they're more or less referring to. Our tower is not gonna be unprotected. I can see at least one guy there. Two what looks to be bandits. I need better spells fairly quickly. They're the shittiest type of bandits, and they're struggling to kill each other in 30 seconds. And I'm taking Novice Destruction, because no matter what you do, you have to be able to kill things on your own. And this will be mandatory to get Destruction magic up, and it halves the magicka cost of Destruction spells. Basically halves the cost of all the spells we're currently using. Yeah, it will make a big difference. Might as well test this too. Resurrection. I know we're not gonna get experience out of this unless our resurrected creature gets into a fight. Please pick your weapon. Don't pick your weapon. Okay, that's the problem. Unarmed combat is pretty worthless. You have to be a member of the beast races, Khazit or Argonian, to be able to do all that much with unarmed combat. But more importantly, she's not gonna pick her weapon automatically. It means we'll have to manually put some kind of weapon in her body in order to make sure they're gonna use something that's such ridiculous. Duration increased. Duration 29.
Going to try now, huh?
No?
You're as good as dead.
And our summoned friend, or resurrected friend rather, nothing. Didn't have the time for screaming. Well, it's a reason to try to keep getting those skills up. Currently they're at a level that are mildly useful, but we really can't rely on them. Which is to be expected. Iron. I think I'll leave the iron there. Or will I? Yeah, I have a lot of extra carry weight, I can take it. We need to use it up fairly quickly. I don't want to end up in a situation where I'm basically just storing up huge amounts of equipment and not having use for them. Which reminds me, I should probably eat the alchemical ingredients I can at the moment. Don't think I can produce anything all that interesting through alchemy for a while. It's just I don't want to take the perks in alchemy that would reveal us the ingredient or effects on each ingredient, which means I'm gonna have to do experimentation, which means I have to do a lot of just guesswork. I might recall some combinations, but I'm not going to recall most of them. I might have vague guesses what a rock warbler egg is used for, but basically I've got nothing. It's gonna be pretty much a crapshoot what we can get out of it. It's going to mean that we should try to start doing it as soon as possible, try to test combinations constantly. At the same time, it'll take quite a while before we can actually get the skill up, because our efforts are try to get the effects instead of trying to make potions. So it's going to be mostly failures, which are almost worthless as far as skill development is concerned. I see bandits. Let's see if we can attract more attention. At least 2. We're too far away to hit him. This is just a waste of my magicka, and there's 3 of them now. Good. Kill each other. Winner gets lightning bolt.
You'll be so much easier to rob when you're dead. I'll mount your head on my wall.
Ah, perfect. We're getting the hang of this. Not taking rubbish loot anymore. I just wanted at the early start to get some kind of basic spells. Now that we have those, I'll try to focus on getting proper loot. Basically anything that has a magical effect or enchantment at the moment will do. Jewelry, gems, metals, ores, that sort of thing. Alchemical ingredients. Strong box and depth. Don't have that many lockpicks. Necklace of Minor Health. Increase your health by 20 points. This is more than welcome. Something similar on the other side. Nope. I'm not too worried what we'll encounter. After all, we're still a very low level character, and most places are to some extent level scale. Plus the game is directing us to this direction very, very strongly. Illusion spells cost less. Well, if we're gonna be an illusion focused guy, we better have illusion perks. Otherwise, we're just an illusion manipulation mage in words only. Got to have the perks to back it up. Illusion is one of the most perk intensive magical skills. It's the nature of the magic. A damage spell does its damage. Summoning spell might do its damage. I mean effect to some extent. Magnitude 6. So it affects creatures of level 6 and lower. It is illusion's problem too. It will not affect anyone above level 6 at our current perks. Through perks we can raise that level. So it's pretty much mandatory to keep the spells at all relevant. Naturally this we can get better spells, and they will increase the level. They might increase the area of effect, might increase a lot of things. I kill you. Let's go. And he's not gonna have his sword. Yeah, this is a big problem. With monsters, I don't think it really matters, but these, we have to basically give them another weapon. That's a... Well, there are other conjuration spells. Spells that just conjure up some kind of a monstrosity. But we don't have to necessarily summon the room. Resurrect creature. Okay, he's going to pick up a weapon, is he? Yeah, he retreated first. Okay, at least he has some common sense. However, I wish he would have done this when we resurrected him instead of doing it now. So it sort of baffles me even more why it's made like that. There is the functionality that has them seeking a weapon already. Why not just use it when the resurrection happens instead of afterwards? Yeah, it might cause some problems, but in certain situations, but running around without a weapon means the resurrected creature is worthless. I don't know. I thought they didn't test it all that well, didn't care, or they had some kind of overriding reason to do it this way. I just can't for the life of me think of what that overriding reason could possibly have been. Maybe they noticed some oddity and tried to fix it by changing behavior, but at the same time that creates an incredible amount of annoyance. There are poison dart tubes all over the place. Bandit outlaw. Snake something whale. Snake whale. Okay, not exactly a huge puzzle, considering the solution is staring at your face, but I suppose this is a good place to learn the principle how this works. Pickpocket increase. How can we resurrect the bastard? What the fuck was that? And he doesn't have a sword. Not here. Yeah, why doesn't everyone do that? Fucking rats. Maybe it's a distance thing. They automatically try to pick up a weapon that is close enough, but if it's not within that very short distance, they don't pick up anything. Only go and pick it up after enemies appear. Something like that. So the problem could be as simple as the radius where they look for the weapon is just too small. Scroll of Fireball. Weak paralysis poison. Now if we only had a weapon, we might apply the poison somewhere.
Is someone coming? Is that you, Hartnett? Bjorn?
Someone's
Soling?
speaking to us.
I know I ran ahead of this wall.
Well, there's gonna be giant spiders here, aren't there?
Not again! Get it away!
It's a wounded spider, so it's weaker than normal too.
Get me down! Get me down!
Every time there's a hole in the ceiling and spiders around, you pretty much be guaranteed that there's some kind of son of a bitch dropping on you.
Get me down! Get me down!
Stop whining.
Don't leave me for Kay's sake. You, over here. It's coming loose. I can feel it.
You did it. You killed it. Now cut me down before anything else shows up.
Where's the golden claw?
Yes, the claw. I know how it works. The claw, the markings, the door in the Hall of Stories. I know how they all fit together. Help me down and I'll show you. You won't believe the power the Nords have hidden there.
Hidden power, you say? Hand over the claw.
Does it look like I can move? You have to cut me down first.
Just tell me where the claw is and I'll cut that part out.
You fool. Why should I share the treasure with anyone?
Point. Why should I share the treasure? Especially with an ungrateful bastard like him. It had a that journal. My fingers are trembling. The golden claw is finally in my hands, and with it, the power of the ancient Nordic heroes. That fool, Lucan Valerius, had no idea that his favorite store decoration was actually the key to Bleak Falls Barrow. Now I just need to get to the Hall of Stories and unlock the door. The legend says there is a test that the Nords put in place to keep the unworthy away, but that when you have the golden claw, the solution is in the palm of your hands. Bear Moth Owl. Yeah, now the sword is attached to his body, so he'll probably pick it up. I guess if it's separated, like sometimes happens when they die, then they no longer pick it up. I have no idea when that happens or why. That's probably the explanation. Yeah, I think we're gonna switch to flames. Looks like they're undead here. I would imagine that they react better to fire. Has a longer damage over time effect too. Are you gonna pick up a weapon? No. He's going to pick up one. Guess we'll learn how it works with different people or creatures. Our guy lost. That's a deadly looking trap. How deadly are we talking about? Yeah, quite deadly. Restless Stroller. So some kind of an upgrade version. Ooh. Shit. Should I focus on illusion? Illusion's problem is it's not gonna work on undead unless we have some illusion life 90. Yep. Illusion spells work on undead data and automatons. But before that, those fairly large major group of enemies are totally unaffected. Unaffected. Maybe conjuration. We do want to use conjuration too, and the current resurrection ability is quite expensive, and this will cut the cost in half. I don't think I want to resurrect him. If we have to come back here again, I'd like to have a decent guy here covering our ass. Yeah. Doesn't have a weapon. At least a good distraction. Yeah, the slap fighting just doesn't do it for me. Ancient Nordic arrows. We might as well start picking them up. There's no way. So even if we don't have an immediate use for them, we're not gonna waste our carry weight on them. We survive. And you die. Even the shitty undead light thing gets 3 hits on us, we're dead. Good to keep things in perspective that way. We don't have too much trouble killing these guys. And you let your sword, of course. Is that it? Conjuration 30? That's quite high. Basically high though, because it started fairly high. Leveling up will slow down drastically as you gain levels. But just because it's nice now doesn't mean it'll last. Usually I put a little bit of focus on some of these things. Summon Atronach or raised undead classes far away. Cheaper. Bound weapons do more damage. Don't have bound weapons to me. I think the game has daggers, swords, battle axe, a bow on the bound weapon department. The dagger is added to a DLC though, which means you can't buy it in Skyrim. You have to go to the DLC area, rather get a DLC shopkeeper that sells spells to go buy. I don't recall which DLC it is, probably Dragonborn. I'm going to take dual casting illusion. A dual casting in general gives like 2 point something multiplier to the effectiveness of the spell. Sometimes it can be duration or something like that. However, with illusion I know it's doubles pretty much the level the spell is effective with. So instead of 6 we have level 12 or 13, maybe 14, something like that. The cost is more than double. So it's not something you really want to be throwing, unless you absolutely have to. But I think with illusion it makes a lot of sense. because the spell either it's the binary nature of the spell. Either you have the levels and it will work, or it does absolutely nothing. So you have to have the levels, otherwise you might as well just not use it at all. Our healing isn't all that good. Way too slow. I'm not taking iron arrows, even though they don't weigh anything. There's a reason for that. I'm basically trying to avoid taking total piece of crap arrows, because if I use a bow, it will default to some kind. I think it defaults to the worst arrow type you have. So I'm basically trying to avoid that. And if we're gonna rely on bound weapons mostly anywho, the arrows we have won't matter too much. It's not to say we are not going to use bows that we found, but they're very likely going to be enchanted in some way. Bound weapons cannot be enchanted or improved through smithing. But there are a few perks that you can improve the weapons with. I think extra damage, soul stealing, and dispel summoned creatures, something like that. So they're very good weapons. Maybe in the later parts of the game, where you have great smithing skills, good enchantment powers, they can be weak, but we're not gonna be at that point for a long time. No worries. That's where we need to go, so this is something extra. Bone mushrooms. Might as well gather up much as we can. Carry weight is not a problem at the moment. The moment we find an alchemy bench, we can basically do the testing with the ingredients we have. We should. More powerful version. Shit. It's a bit of a problem. This is the only thing we can do at the moment. So probably wouldn't hurt it to support destruction with a few perks. Red Zombie. We did get a few scrolls. Conjure a Storm Atronach, Red Zombie, and a couple of fireballs. Storm Atronach at this point is incredibly powerful. It'll slaughter anything that comes our way. At the same time, I wouldn't want to use it if we have a reasonable chance of dealing with it without too much fuss. At the same time, there's a tendency in these games to hoard on equipment that you should be just using. Well. Use a little bit of help here. Excellent. A little bit of a distraction was all I needed anyway. Resist cold potion. Some kind of a light spell would be nice. We can see most of the time just fine, but some places are a bit more dark than they should be, or rather, how I like them to be. Yeah, some kind of light. There's no night vision spell in the game. There's like night vision abilities. I think if you become a vampire or play a Khajiit, you have some kind of limited form of night vision. It's not very appealing to look at. I think it blurs the outlines of the screen or something like that. Don't like it. Vision enhancement should not be lowering your vision. One of the reasons I don't want to travel during night time too. Bear moth owl. A lack of weapon and armor is a little bit of a problem. We can't block anything, that's the big deal. However, at the same time, our mobility is fantastic. I mean, we haven't had too much trouble dodging things, and just trying this. If we would try to wear some kind of an armor, even light armor, the mobility would be reduced to some extent. Heavy armor would definitely reduce it. I think we're better off trying to keep lightweight, trying to use armor spells to see us through, which sort of reminds me, alteration is a good place to invest points too. Otherwise, there's no way a singular armor spell is gonna keep us alive unless we have support for it. Let me take a guess. We're gonna have a friend popping out of here the moment we go there. Hide boost of resist fire. Increase fire resistance by 15%. Not bad. The level scaling will not increase in smooth increments. It's going to be suddenly you can just going to encounter a different level of creature, and the change might be very drastic because they also get abilities. So currently, if we face a spellcaster, it probably has something like this: limited range, limited damage. Later on, it's gonna have lightning bolts, or even worse, some kind of area effect attacks, things like that. Something that we can no longer really dodge. We either block it or we're dead, or we kill him first. So the difficulty can suddenly jump quite a bit. Currently everything's under our control. No one really has good long range attacks. We have the mobility advantage. So we can just strafe around people and whittle them to death with our crappy spell. They don't really have abilities to block us either. So it's easy, very easy for us. That'll change. You never know how it's gonna change. We can also get guys that have so many hit points that we're struggling to keep them at bay, and when they get to close range, they can decapitate us or something like that. So you never know. Early on, things should be fairly simple, no complications. Word power learned. Force. Unrelenting force. Kroger Overlord. Yeah, it's not really... This has some special power. Has some magical two-handed sword. I'm pretty sure if it hits us, we're basically dead, so... But its long-range attacks are not that capable, so... End result is pretty easy to guess. Dragonstone. Something written in the back. And... looks to be a map of Skyrim. With locations marked all over the place. And I'm pretty much that's a wrap. So what I'm going to do is return the cloth to Lucas, or Lucan, whatever the guy's name was. See what we can get for a reward. We have 1600 gold. We have quite a few somewhat valuable items that we can turn into cash. We can also disenchant them, which wouldn't be a bad idea. But depending on what the Whiterun basically has to sell for us on the spell front, I doubt we can afford anything too valuable. I'd like to have an actual summoning skill. I mean, summon a creature. Resurrection has the downside that you have to have a dead body before it works. Another Storm Atronach scroll. Those will be very valuable. And I might not want to deal with the problem that they can't pick up weapons for themselves. So maybe it's better to just summon something. Is it nighttime? Soon to be nighttime. Back entrance. Quite many places have back entrances. It's just they could be very hard to locate and not really worth the trouble. Or they might be blocked so you couldn't use them to enter the place anyhow. A little bit of corundum. And more corundum. What corundum and iron mixed together makes steel. Can't do anything from steel. It would require steel smithing. Still, I guess we can sell the ore. Why not? Every little bit helps. And we got an amethyst, so there's always a chance to get some gems out of these. I suppose that alone is reason enough to take the ore. As we're on this side of the Riverwood, we might also try to take the first treasure map. It was somewhere over here. Nope. Nope. Not now. Let's just report our success.
Faendal thinks he can woo Camilla Valerius away from me. She's already mine, I keep telling him.
Has to be worth a few hundred gold pieces.
You're back from Bleak Falls. Did you find anything?
I've got the claw.
You found it! There it is! Strange. It seems smaller than I remember. Funny thing, huh? I'm gonna put this back where it belongs. I'll never forget this. You've done a great thing for me and my sister.
400.
Thank you so much. Oh, a bit of this and a
So
bit
we
of
have
that.
2,000 gold now. No new spells. Nothing really interesting. I suppose I could buy locks. Yeah, they're not that expensive. And we have less than 20 at the moment, so a little bit of a boost on that certainly wouldn't hurt. I don't want to sell ore. Ore in general is fairly worthless. We need to smelt it.
All right.
1,500. Okay, alchemical ingredients. Beehive husk. Yummy yummy. Mushrooms. Nothing new.
Then.
Just have to get our hands on a alchemical apparatus. Alchemy table. Okay. Talk to Alvar in Riverwood. We might as well.
Ain't every day we get visitors in Riverwood.
Tell me about Riverwood.
Gerder's family first settled here as woodcutters a few generations ago. She and Hod run the mill. I make a decent living sharpening axes and fixing the sawmill.
Okay. Do you have any supplies I could take?
Of course, take what you need.
I'll take a bottle of honey brew mead. And your lockpick.
There's something you could do for me. For all of us here. The Jarl needs to know if there's a dragon on the loose. Riverwood is defenseless. We need to get word to Jarl Balgruuf in Whiterun to send whatever soldiers he can. If you'll do that for me, I'll be in your debt.
Sounds like a fair deal to me. What can you tell me about the Jarl?
Jarl Balgruuf. He rules Whiterun Hold. A good man, perhaps a bit overcautious, but these are dangerous times. So far, he's managed to stay out of the war. I'm afraid it can't last, though.
Which side in the war does he favor?
I don't think he likes either Ulfric or Elisif much. Who can blame him? But I've no doubt he'll prove loyal to the Empire in the end. He's no traitor.
Who's Elisif?
Ah, I forget you're new to Skyrim. Jarl Elisif, I should say. Although only because she was married to Jarl Torrig when he was murdered. Ulfric murdered Torrig, you know. Walked right into his palace in Solitude and killed him. Shouted him to death, if you believe the stories. That's what started this whole war. The Empire couldn't ignore that. Once the Jarls start killing each other, we're back to the bad old days.
And I think I'll end it here. Rather, I'm gonna sleep in your bed. It's past 11. I just want daylight. Whiterun isn't that far away. Travel should not be dangerous in any way. What we have to do is head north, follow the river, and we should be there. Where to spend this? I'll devote it to alteration. We're using the armor skill constantly, and we have to develop things further here too. The point is to keep the costs low so I can use all the different abilities constantly without worrying too much. That's why I'm trying to get more buffer into Magic Cup. It'll also help gain access to the spells we don't have the cost reduction yet. It'll be incredibly expensive. I don't want to ignore stamina completely, but for now Magicka is much more important.